morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Kat and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope you will subscribe, stick around and give me a chance to share some inspiration and some ideas. And if you are a returning subscriber, well, you know you're my darlings and you have my sincere thanks and gratitude. First of all, I would like to say hi and hugs to Camilla, Billy Joe and Debbie. Thank you so much for your kind comments, and also I'd like to say a huge thank you to all my subscribers and all my viewers for your wonderful support of late of my videos, in particular the last video that I uploaded. You guys just loved it and it just means so much to me, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'd also like to apologise for the lack of videos for the last week or so. I've just upped my medication and it knocked me around a little bit, but I am settling down again, getting used to the levels, and everything is good. I'm back on track with my energy levels. And so with all of that aside, let's get into it. So today we're going to make hidden paper clips. In fact, we're going to look at 5 amazing ways on how to decorate hidden paper clips. So I've got a couple here that I worked on earlier, and the purpose of a hidden paper clip, if you didn't know, is if I just grab my journal just to demonstrate. So if we just open it to a page. So you can, if you have a look carefully under here, you'll see that there's actually, I don't know if you can see that, sorry. Yeah, you can see that there's a paper clip in there. So the idea is that we put that over the page like so, and we can slip something in there. So if I just grab something, like for example, say this pretty envelope, so you can put it in as a tuck spot like so, and I find that with tuck spots that things tend to drop out, but this way you can have a pretty top tuck, but the paper clip actually secures it. And then on the other side you have another area here, and again you can use that to secure another piece there, and you can also decorate that one. Here I actually have decorated it, so but we will go through a few different options as we're decorating it. So that is what we're going to do today. There are lots of videos out there about hidden or altered paper clips. I call these ones hidden paper clips because the paper clip is actually hidden, so you don't see it at all. So what supplies do we need? So you can see I've got some flying around here. What I used for these two here, and pretty much following almost like a formula, I guess you could say, is I have got some, this is tracing paper or vellum that I have tea dyed, and this becomes a lovely wrinkly, crinkly piece of paper, and it has a lovely look about it, aged look about it, and also when it tears it gives that lovely look. So I have been using that, and then I've been using tea bag papers. So as far as embellishments go, we're doing things like, I have a bunch of different cutouts here, and I've also got some smaller ones. So I've got some Easter ones, I've got some Christmas ones. I mean, you can obviously, whatever theme journal you're looking at doing, you just choose whatever you want. So I'll just pop them aside. I've got a little bit of toil here, little bits of lace, and little bits of, you know, vintage or pretty fabric and lace and trim. Some buttons as well is always good. And the other thing that I've been doing is I've been stamping on fabric, because I absolutely love doing that. And these are some new stamps that I got, so I have been having a lot of fun with that. Make sure that you do watch the video through, because I reveal a lovely surprise right at the end. What I used was manila file folder. I had some old file folders that I had embossed, and I have cut them down, and I will run through that in a little while. Unfortunately, I have cut my folder down, but this, for example, is what I've got left over. If you can imagine when you have the folded over section of the file folder, so if you can imagine that's the fold there, say, all I did was I trimmed the open ends, which is what these are, and then the folded end I cut. So my measurements, and I had a little piece of paper here. Here we go. My measurements were 9 centimeters. So I cut them, this is 9 centimeters this way, and then I cut them 7.5 centimeters along here. So this is what I ended up with. So if you can imagine, I had my folded strip like so, and I cut it 9 centimeters from here to here, and then 7.5 centimeter widths. So you could use scrapbook paper if you like. So the main thing is that you want a fold, and then I will show you how to notch out this little tab bit here. And the other thing obviously you're going to need are some paper clips. I use these 50mm ones. I think they're 2 inches. Yeah, they're 2 inches. So I just got these at Officeworks. And the other thing that I personally think is a good idea is I find that when I'm covering up the paper clips, if you can have some sort of shiny piece. Now I'm fairly certain I was backing some rubber stamps, and this is the peel back paper from that. And another option you could look at is, like, you know, when you have these Unistat labels and you have that plastic, when you peel the paper labels off, something like this would be suitable. The other thing I was thinking is when you get your stamps and you've got that shiny little piece underneath there, you could use something like that. I was cutting them down into 1-inch strips, so you know you would want something at least 1 inch. The other things I'm going to use are obviously stamps. So get yourself a variety of stamps. I used these ones here. I have some sentiment. This one's chocolate, cake and chocolate, and I have a new stamp set which I was really excited to be able to use, which is this one here. This is a Stampin' Up one. It's a retired one, and I was lucky enough to get my hands on it. It's called Vintage Postcard, but this is a retired one, but absolutely gorgeous. I love this. And yeah, so just get yourself some stamps, and I think that's pretty much it. You might want some texture paste, because I'm going to do some texture paste and some embossed scraps if you've got them, and some book page. But I think that's it for supplies, guys. So I think let's just get into it, and as we go along, I'll introduce you to what we need. So the first thing, I've got a couple of tools here, and I am going to show you an option where you will just need to use a circle punch. I have done it in a previous video. It's the We Are Memory Keeper. I believe it's the index card file folder, but I'll show it again to you now. There's a few options on how to make some tabs. So as I said, I have got my folded piece of manila file folder or scrapbook paper, whatever you end up wanting to use. So the first way I would make a tab is with the We Are Memory Keepers board. So I just take my little divider here and I put it in the side tabs pocket, the 2 holes there, and I just line up so that this folded edge here, I just fit that nicely into the corner there, and I punch, and then I turn it around and I punch. And so what that is doing is it's giving us a nice little tab that we can use to slip over the page or to the side of the page. And then while I'm here, this does have a corner rounder, so I'm going to just round those corners. So that's one method. If you've got one of these, you can use that. And then the other method, if you've got an envelope punch board, now I've got a mini one, a regular size one is fine as well. So again, we have our piece of cardstock, which, as I explained before, this one is 9 centimeters by 7.5 centimeters. And in this one here, you will just take your folded edge across here and line that up. Now you want to line it exactly just at that, where that little right angle is there. You want to just put the edge right in the middle there. So we will just punch, and then we'll do the same thing here. Just make sure everything's lined up and buttered. And there you go, you've got a tab that you can use that way. Okay, now if you don't have any of these tools, you can also do this with a circle punch. So again, I will just put these aside. I will, this one here is 6/8 of an inch or 1.5 centimeters. And again, I take my card, the folded, so this is the tab part here. And if you have a look, my particular circle punch, which is a Fiskars, it has that little cross there with 4 little quarters. And so I just put my piece of paper in and I roughly line it up to 1/4. I might even just come in a little bit, so it's just a little bit inside the lines. So I don't know if you can see, but instead of fully going in like so, I'm just going to bring out just a little bit, because it's only a little tab that we're making. So take that one, and then I will do the same on this side here, like so. And of course, if you don't even have a circle punch, you can just take your scissors and just make a little notch. It's only a tiny little notch, so you could get away with it. Whenever I see little sharp corners like this, I just like to get my scissors and just snip them, just to not make it so sharp, just to sort of soften those corners off a little bit. And I'll just do the same here. I just nick that off there. Okay, so we have our pieces now. Now we'll come to the paperclip portion of it. So as I mentioned, you want to get yourself a shiny piece of paper, and I'd like to get that little strip. Here we go, this one here. These ones I found were quite a good length. So but I am going to try a slightly different method actually. I think it might be a little bit easier. So let's just cut these down into 1-inch strips. Okay, So, all right, we'll just put that one aside. That'll do for now. Okay. So I'm just going to pull some paper clips out. There's a few there. Okay, so if we just take our paper clip and this short bit, just have it facing you and just slightly bend it out, just ever so slightly, just so you get a little bend in there, and take your shiny piece of your strip of paper and have that facing down, and then just slip that in there. Now I'm almost thinking this would be a good time to add some glue. So you could use hot glue, but I'm going to just use Helmer fabric glue because I find this quite strong and good for metal embellishments, and I use it obviously for fabric as well. Okay, so I've just added a smear of glue there, and then just fold that up and press down, and just while you still can, just straighten that up, and then we'll get the other side and just add a smear of glue, just following around the metal bits. Okay. That glue is very old and it amazes me how much it still works. Okay, so if you saw, I just folded that down, and then we've got this little bit here which we would just fold and tuck that in like so. That actually worked out really well. Now, just to be careful that we don't glue the entire thing shut, maybe just get a strip and just slide it down, just making sure that we don't glue that together. So we've got our paper clip that is now covered with a shiny piece of paper. Now the other method, so I just practiced off camera. So we've got a strip of paper here. As far as how big that is, it's about 9 inches. So if we fold that in half with the shiny pieces together, so take your paper clip and place it over the top and slide it down, and then we can do the same at this point. This might be a better method in the sense that we won't have to worry about glue like we did the first method. So I guess that's the good thing of experimenting and trying different styles or different methods. So again, I'll just get my glue and just smear that over the paper clip, and this time we'll be folding this up, and then we'll come over to the other side and smear glue. Now you could trim that, but I think I might just fold that down and then come this side here and fold it up, and then do the same over here, and I think I'll fold a piece down like so. So now we have got our paper clip that is covered, and you can see we have got our little gap there, and there's absolutely no glue in there whatsoever. So this actually might, the second method might actually be a better way to go about this. And when we finish embellishing the fronts, then we just glue that side down, and then we glue that side down, and then we've got our paper clip hidden inside. So now we've done all the technical part of it, let's get into some decorating. Decorating idea number 1. I'm going to show you my method for how I put together these shabby chic style hidden paper clip. I would almost call these flip bookmarks. But I wanted to show you this little booklet. I picked it up thrift shopping, so if you ever come across something like this, beautiful Victorian images, and these would be perfect to cut out and use. So if you have these little tiny booklets, which you do see from time to time, this would be a good resource to use. We have got our base, which we've already run through how to do those, and also I have made my 5 paper clips ready to go. This would be a really good mass making project, so you could get your paper clips ready to go, and you could, you know, whenever you've got spare you know, scrap offcuts of scrapbook paper or whatever, you could cut them down to size, and you could just have these ready to go, so that when you're decorating a journal, you could grab say 4 or 3 of these depending on your signatures, and you could have 1 per signature. So I have put together my decorating bits. So I have got, so I'm going to put my vellum, I'm going to call it vellum, but we know it's tracing paper. Okay, and a little bit of toil, and then I'm going to get my fabric, put that like so, and I've got this little bit of curtain lace here, so I'm just going to layer that like that, and then I've got a little bit of the tea bag paper. I've got a few torn bits here, so I'm just going to play around and see which one I like. I might go for that one. And I've got my fan on in case you hadn't realised. I'm sure you worked that out. Okay, so then I've got my little image here, and move my scissors out the way, and then I just sort of play around with it. Now look, I might tear this down because this actually is a bit too big, so I keep these little pieces, and I'll show you why in a moment. So at this point I might get my glue and start putting these pieces down, so I'll hold everything into place. Okay, so I'm going to put that like so. So okay, I've got my bit of tracing paper down, and I'm going to now find my vellum. So just these little raggedy little pieces are perfect because they you know, little bits can poke out. I just love the look of toil. I just think it looks such a beautiful soft look. So if you've got some, pull it out. Adds to that shabby chic look for sure. Okay, now I'm going to put some fabric down, and I think I will put it down like that. So I might just, I've just filled up my glue bottle, so it's coming out very liberally, but in this case that's good. I want it to. Okay, so I'm going to put that down like so, and try and spread that out and get rid of that crease there. Right, so you don't have to iron. Sometimes I do, but you don't always have to. Right, so we've got that happening, and now I'm going to place my lace. Now that we've got these base pieces down, we can start, it's a little bit easier to play around. Yeah, I think I might do that like that. And then now I've got my paperies, and yes, I do like that. As soon as you add the rose to it, it just instantly transforms it. But I do like to do 3. So I'm just going to snip that off. My very, very sharp dressmaking scissors. I hate to snip my skin with these. Okay. So I think that's the correct way. All right. And now we just need to add the paperies, the little sentiment. So might even look good up the top there. So I just mentioned to keep those little bits of the tracing paper or the vellum, and I'll show you why, because I like to kind of tear these down to give them a bit of a rough, you know, fussy torn sort of look. Okay, so then what I do is I will then glue these together, and it just adds another layer. So yeah, I might do that on the bottom. So just add some glue. So waste not, want not. Don't, you know, that's what I love about this craft, is that we end up just recycling so many things. I mean, now we can even use the backs of our label paper because before we glue this all down, I didn't distress or ink the edges, so I'll just do what I can. So I think we can get this down. I think what it is I'm onto actually a new glue bottle, so it's a lot runnier than the other stuff that I was using, because that was a little bit old. Okay, so I'm going to get this down now. Hopefully got this in the right position. Yes, I think that will be fine. Now that we've got this going here, we just work out how we want to place this. Yeah, I think I might have that coming down like so. And then I've got these 3 little bits of bling, which I might just put just in here. We'll see when we get to that, we'll see where we want that, but I definitely want, well, we'll put this down first. Okay, so there we have that there. I'm going to now put the paper clip in, so we can open that out, and I would put the paper clip just here. So if I show you with a pen, just where the tab starts. So just if I run an imaginary line across there, that's where I would put that. So I'll just grab my Helmar's glue and just run some glue. Okay. So place it somewhat in the center there, and then we can just add glue to the top. All right, so I'm going to just set that aside to dry now. So that is idea number 1. So decorating idea number 2, I'm going to play around with some texture paste. So I've got my base here. Now I've ran this through this 3D embossing folder. This is the Tim Holtz, the doily one, and it's turned out absolutely beautiful. So I thought that would be a good decoration for like the reverse side. And then I've placed a book page to cover the debossed side, and I have slightly inked around the edges, and I've got this scrap here of another embossed you know, pattern, just some swirls and florals and things, and I thought I would make a pocket here, but I want to put a little bit of texture paste in the background here. So I've found this stencil here, and I'm going to just go for the top flower here. So I've got some texture paste. This is the opaque crackle one. So I'm just going to get a little bit of texture paste on my palette knife here. See how we get on with this. Now I don't put a lot on because I don't want it to run underneath the stencil. So fingers crossed we get this nicely. So I just want that top little bit there. Okay, just scrape the excess away. Okay, so now for the reveal. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So I'm just going to let that dry off for a second and I'll be back. Okay, so my texture paste has dried now. So I'm just going to run a little bit of glue around the edges so I can put my pocket down. Okay. Okay. Oh, I think that looks really rather quaint. And then I found this trim, which I thought would be nice just to run across like so. Trying to figure out what is the right orientation, and I think that looks okay. So I'm just going to run a line of glue across like so. Now I'm going to stitch this. I thought that would add a nice little bit of texture as well. But before I do that, I've just got this little Paris here, and I'm going to have to go through my stamps and either find some more embellishments, like some more words, or I'm going to have to get some more stamps with those. So if anyone's got any nice suggestions, I suppose, but I do like to stamp them on the book pages, so I'm thinking it does have to be a stamp. Okay, so, and I like to add my little bit of vellum there. I'm trying to work out whether I want it on the bottom or if I one on the top. Right, and then we're going to glue that down. All right, so I'm going to stitch around the edge. So I'm just going to open that out and I'm just going to come across and stitch. So I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I stitched around the edges. So now we've got this lovely little pocket here, and I found a couple of little tickets that I thought would sit really sweetly inside. So I just thought I would add just this little journal note on top here just to finish it off. There we go. So I haven't put the paper clip in. I have shown you how to do that in the previous one. So I think I will do these all off camera and then I'll do a summary at the end. So that is decorating idea number 2. Decorating idea number 3 is to use our snippet rolls. So I'm sure you're the same as me and you've made a bunch of these. And this one here is quite a low profile, so if you put it on a page, it's not going to create an awful lot of bulk. So if you have these lying around and you don't really know what to do with them, what I did was I cut some snippet roll off, and I thought we could use that as a layer, as part of our layering. Again, following a similar formula as the first idea. I have got some of the vellum here. So lay this one down. And then I'll get some toil and I'll just put this one similar to how we did it the first time around, just coming at different angles so we can just show lots of little textures and lots of little fabrics, etc. On here I will put some of my curtain netting down. So I'm just sort of roughly coming along, placing the glue down where I think it will be. I might do this one. Just a little tip, if you don't want to get sticky fingers, I mean you can't avoid it in this type of craft, but if you pat it down with a dried baby cloth, that helps reduce some of the stickiness on your fingers. Okay, and then I've got my little piece of snippet roll here, so I thought I would do that across like so, and then I can do a little piece of, this is the tea bag cloth, just a little piece of ephemera, which I thought we could do like so. So I think I might get those down. And I might just put that at an angle across like so. Okay, and then I've got this little strip of fringed fabric which I thought I would put down the bottom here like that, and then I've got this little sentiment here, cake and chocolate. I thought that would go really well with tea time, so I'm just going to snip this little piece of fabric here, then we'll get this down, just fray the edge. There we go, got that down. And there we go. So that is idea number 3, is to use up our snippet rolls as part of our decorating process. Before we get into decorating idea number 4, we're coming near to the end, so make sure you keep watching for the surprise that I talked about earlier. And also, I just wanted to mention that I am on Instagram, so it's at Jolly Jam Journal. So check me out there if you happen to be on Instagram. So decorating idea number 4, we are going to play around with our stamped images on fabric. So again, following our formula, we are going to put down our first layer, which is our tea dyed or coffee dyed, I call it vellum, but it's actually tracing paper. Okay, so I'll pop that one down. And then I've got some bits of toil here, which I thought I might just, because this is a bit of a longer piece, I might just see if I can scrunch this up a little bit in the middle. And then I have got this little bit of scrap fabric here that's just got some vintage postal marks and postcards on there. So I'll just pop this down as well. Okay, and then we'll get our little bit of lace. Okay, so now we've got our base layered pieces down. I'm going to play around with where I want this. So I've got some feathers here, which I thought I might tuck behind, like so. And then I have got, so I think I'll get that down. Can't tell you how long I've had this feather trim and I've not ever used it, so pleased to finally work it into a project. Are you like me and you've got so many things in your craft room that you've collected and you're brimming, overflowing, and you just don't know where to start? Sometimes I look at things and I can't even remember why I bought them. Tuck that bit further behind there. Okay, we have got a button, so I think I might get my little piece of vellum down. And my little bit of Paris. And I have got, now I might use my fabric glue for this. Coming to the end of my glue bottle, so I'm going to need to get some more. There we go. I think that looks really pretty there. Okay, so I've got this little bit of a button that's still got some of the cotton, so I thought that would look good. And just to give it a little bit of depth and to just separate it a little bit rather than decorating it, like gluing it down, I've just cut out this little circle with some craft brown, if I can get it. I'm all sticky fingers here, and I'm going to now just glue that down. And there we go. All right, so there is our finished paperclip there. All right, so now we're on to idea number 5, but I wanted to mention the surprise that I have offered to my viewers and my subscribers. So I'm aware that you may not have some ephemera pieces that are sized down enough for this type of project. So I've gone through my personal vintage images here, and I've put together this sheet. So these will, if you print these out, now I print best quality when I'm doing my final print, and I also print on cardstock, about I think 120 GSM cardstock. So I'll just show you the images that you've got there so you can have a look. Now I'll put a link to this below. I've got it on my Buy Me a Coffee site, and I have put it down I think for a suggested like $3, but as I say, I've made it that you can just pay whatever you want. So as I say, no pressure, but I just thought that this would be a nice little bonus that I could offer you guys just to help you out with your project. Decorating idea number 5, I'm going to decorate both sides. So we have got a double-sided hidden paperclip. So I have got my pieces ready, and what I was thinking was that I was going to make a pocket, and then I was going to add some decorations. So the first thing I'm going to do is de-stress ink my edges. This one again, I'm going to stitch the edges. So I just come around like so. I've got a little piece of tea bag paper here, and I'm going to just lay that down. Like so, and then I'm going to pop my little embellishment down. I might do it this way, and then I've got this little piece of trim here, so I might use some fabric glue for this one here. Of glue just across the bottom here. And I've just got these little flowers here, and I glued some little diamantes on them just to give them a little bit of sparkle. Lift that up. I'm just going to stitch that pocket down now. Okay, so I have stitched around the edge, so I'm just going to glue down this little sentiment here, cake and chocolate. Okay, so we've got a little pocket there. Now turn it over on the other side, and I'm going to do something similar. So I was just going to put a little bit of lace just on the bottom here. So just run some glue. And then I've got my fabric piece here, so I'll do a similar thing, and I'll run some glue just on the edges here just to hold this down, because again I am going to be stitching. I think I'll do it that way. Okay, so I've got this gorgeous little picture here of this little baby. So I thought I would just put that like so, and then I wanted to just maybe put that little bit of embellishment, that little bit of lace here, like so. And then I've got this frame, again, out of my stash that I've had around for ages, and I thought that would look really cute just sort of on the side, and then I could kind of tuck that like so. But before we glue this all down, I wanted to decorate up this little piece of chipboard. So I've got some cellophane paper here, and I have got this Distress Foundry wax. This is the statue. So I'm just going to shake this up really well. Now I'll just try and put a couple of little tiny drops. There we go, that's more than enough. And I'm just going to get my chipboard. I don't think there's a right way or a wrong way. I think they both look the same. So I'm just going to just see if I can just smear this across. I'm not worried about getting the whole thing done. I sort of wanted to give it a really rustic look, and I did want some of that chipboard to still show through. Okay, so I've got my embossing gun, and I'm just going to just hold this carefully, and let's see what happens. Okay, so I don't know if that shows up there, but we've got it slightly embossed, and that does actually look really, really pretty against the fabric there. So I'm going to, first off, I'm going to stitch around here. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I've stitched around the edges, so we're going to pop down our little photo here. I don't even know where I got this photo from, but I don't think it could possibly be, but I don't think it is. But I've got a photo very similar to this of my grandfather. And I'm just going to pop this down. Okay, and I'm going to put this down here now, this little piece of lace. Perfect way to use up your tiny little bits of scraps for these type of projects. So probably shouldn't have glued that down yet, so let's see if we can pry that up a little bit. I think I want it this way. And might just tuck a little bit of glue back in there. Now there's a big squelch of glue there. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm just going to give that a minute to dry. And I've got one of these rubbers. I actually do sell these in my Etsy shop, and these are a fabulous little tool for the craft room. They get rid of little sticky glue residue, and especially like the shiny bits of glue. So I don't know if you can see, I'm sort of gently rubbing this, and it's working its way into like a bit of a globule, and then I can just pull it away. But it's a good way to get rid of excess glue, and you get rid of that, like that sticky shine, so you can't really see anything now. So I think the final stage is to now, I am getting glue everywhere. Okay, so I think I've got a little bit here on my fingernail. Make sure I've got the right side. Okay, and I'll just get this little bit of glue here that's coming out of the tip and wipe it on the frame. Okay, and just going to get my little tool, and just where I can see there's like little strings. There we go. All right. So there we have it, and that's the other side. So I'll see if I can find some tags to put in there or something. So I went through my pre-made ephemera and I found these 3 gorgeous little tags, which is not my usual style, but I thought that these would just look absolutely gorgeous in here. So we've got those, and then on this side here I found, again, just playing around with some vellum and some stamping and some embossing, and I've got Wonder, which I thought would be perfect to just tuck in there like so. So I'll bring everything back in. Now, decorating idea number 1, I did play around with that a little bit more, and I just quickly took the rose off here and I put it down the bottom here and added a button. So that's idea number 1, and idea number 2 was this journal note here, and the reverse side is just this beautiful embossing. So I haven't done anything on idea number 1, but that is embossed, so that is still going to look lovely. And idea number 3 was this one here, where we used the snippet roll, and idea number 4 was where we used a stamped image. Okay, and then finally idea number 5 is where we have got a double-sided pocket with this cute little baby here. So there we have it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video, 5 amazing ways on how to decorate hidden paper clips. If you have enjoyed this video, I would love it if you could please like, share, comment, and if you're not already a subscriber, I would love it if you would consider becoming a subscriber. So that's it for me now, guys, and I am going to see you very soon in the next one. Have a great rest of the day, rest of the week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.